Hi, I hope you had a good free comic book day. I'm back. I'm going to be going through the pull list for this week, figuring out what I'm going to be reading. First on the docket, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 25. This is going to be a pull for me, but this is going to be a make or break pull. I've been complaining about this for a while, and I think I'm at the point now where if this issue doesn't really wow me, I'm probably not going to be coming back. One interesting note here, though, is that the artist here is listed as Carrie Andrews. I am not sure if that's a mistake and that is actually taking care of this issue and Andrews has a backup or what, but I have to imagine that's the case, right? Although he is credited first on the cover as well. That seems kind of strange. You'd think with a issue that they're hyping up like this that they would let JR handle this, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we've got Daredevil 11. As far as the Zdarsky superhero stuff goes, I've been enjoying this a fair amount. I've mentioned before a lot of that comes down to Chichetto being absolutely phenomenal, but I am curious to see where this run is going. So that's another easy pull for me. Wolverine 33 is continuing the shenanigans of Beast, who now apparently has a sword. Hard to believe that's going to make that much of a difference. I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure. Yeah, you know what? I've been enjoying this. I'm going to go ahead and pull, but I've got my eye on you, Wolverine. You'd better be on your best behavior, bub. X-Men Red hasn't really been grabbing me. I think I might go ahead and take a break on this one. This is one of those comics that I'll probably wind up reading, but I don't necessarily want to own, so yeah, that's a pass for me. Green Lantern number 1. Not terribly familiar with this creative team. I really like the cover, though. The cover is very charming. And I'm a little bit nervous because this is doing that spinning out of Dark Crisis thing, and I really did not care for Green Arrow, which did something similar. But the first issue and the cover, I think, are enough to win me over. I would obviously prefer Kyle, but, that's probably not in the cards, so that's going to be a cautious pull. But, we'll give it a fair shake, see what we think. Superman Lost continues. Another easy one for me with Christopher Priest and Pagulayan still on the creative team. This probably isn't my favorite Priest joint, but it's still a good time. And I am curious to see where it goes from here. Okay, we've got Miracleman, The Silver Age, issue 5. I'm ready for this to get moving again. I feel like we're kind of treading water a little bit. I'm really enjoying it. And I mean, obviously, it's kind of amazing that we're reading this at all. But I'm also like really curious to see how it's going to progress, right? I mean, the obvious implication of going into the Silver Age would be that you're going to have another series at one point, which is like the Dark Age, but they've basically set up a lot of stuff to go wrong in the Miracleman Utopia, and I don't know if they're actually going to follow through on that, but it is fascinating to see, absolutely. Definitely a pull for me. No doubt, no hesitation. Next up, we've got The Ambassadors, issue 4. Okay, well, with that artist, that's an easy pull for me. Don't even need to read the description again. I'm actually running behind on Ambassadors. I picked up issue 3, but I haven't read it yet. I should probably check that out before I move on to this. But Coipel, I think is the pronunciation, is one of my favorites right now. He's doing phenomenal work. I'm not wild about the fact that I have to read Miller to get to him, but he's one of those artists that I would follow pretty much anywhere, so that's a definite pull for me. This one, I'm a little bit on the fence on because I wasn't really that into the original Gotham Academy series, but I really, really love this cover. I think it's really cute. So I wanted to see if this is something that I can pick up without necessarily exactly what fans of the series have been hoping for. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll hold off on this one and wait until I've actually read the other material. This probably isn't for me. Murder Incorporated, Jagger Rose, #1. I read a little bit of the original Murder Incorporated series when it came out, and basically it's the idea of what if organized crime took over America, and I have to say it really did not work for me at all. I don't think Oming was a good fit for that project. I really like him, but I don't think this was necessarily lending itself to his strengths. And this appears to be about a character who I assume was a big deal in that, so I think that is probably a pass for me. I feel bad about it because it's a first issue and it's not big two, and I like to try to support that as much as I can, but given how flat the original miniseries was for me, I just don't think this is probably something I would enjoy. Pass. This is Ancient Enemies, The Wraith and Son, #1. We've got Dan DiDio writing, so that's an easy pass. I noticed that it's following events from Ancient Enemies, and it's a one-shot, so there's really nothing here that's gonna tip things the other way for me, I'm afraid. I do want to check out one of these Frank Miller Presents comics at one point, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be this particular story. Hard pass. Okay, we've got Count Dante #1. Sidney Brown relives his years fighting alongside Count Dante, an iconic and controversial karate master from the 1970s. I have no idea what's going on here. The unauthorized but sort of true story of the deadliest man who ever lived. The art on the cover looks very promising, but I notice they're bait and switching on it, so that makes me a little suspicious. But I think the combination of the solicit blurb and the first issue is probably enough to make this a cautious pull. Yeah, we'll give it a shot and see what we think. Okay, finally we have Quicksand, which from the looks of this seems like it's got some Tremors vibes going on. You know, I've never actually seen Tremors. I probably should. I've heard it's excellent. I've heard the sequels are not, but that's kind of how it goes. So we've got some horrific creatures. We've got an unfathomable event. We've got some elite specialists. And yeah, I don't know. This doesn't really do it for me. I think I'll probably give this one a miss. I don't know. I don't see, this doesn't really get me excited. All right, that's going to do it for this week. If there's a comic you think I should have checked out, feel free to leave a note in the comments and I'll go ahead and check that out. If you're interested in seeing me maybe read one of these comics online, you can go ahead and see that happen live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on my Twitch stream. Right now we're going through superhero comics in the 70s and looking at Vietnam era material, which is actually really fascinating. So yeah, feel free to swing by.